Good evening.
Wait.
Thanks for joining us. Welcome, everybody, to the February 27th, 2024 meeting of Pequannock Town Council. Ms. Marsh?
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends and Daily Record newspapers, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Wow, it's like I just heard that. All right, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all of the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen. Well said. All right. Will the clerk please call the roll call? Call the roll.
Mr. Tracy?
Present.
Mrs. Florence Lynch? Here. Mr. Cole?
Here.
Mrs. Russell?
Here.
Mayor Hurd?
Here. All righty. Trying to flip my page here. No presentations for this evening. At this time, are there any reports or comments from any of the volunteers serving our community? Seeing none. Sorry, I can't see it behind the pole there. Hi. Okay. Next on the agenda is public comments. This public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period for public comment is reserved later in the meeting. Individuals are requested to limit their questions and comments to 3 minutes. If anybody wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized. Come to the microphone and provide your name for the record. Sorry. Come on up. I was looking at something else. I do apologize.
So my name is Donna McGovern.
Hi, Donna. How are you?
Very good, thanks. So the issue that I have that I'd like to bring to light, and hopefully we'll get a solution to this, is the corner of Andrews Place and Kinney. We've had some serious flooding. You've all known. I've sent you pictures. I've emailed everybody, so I'm sure you're all aware of it. So basically, I have a couple of my neighbors are here tonight too to attest to the issue. And actually, with the rain tonight, if you drive past the corner, you'll see that the flooding's already started into the street. And just when the water starts to go down, it seems to us, we're not the experts, that these storm drains, and there are 3 of them, one on our corner on Andrews, one on Andrews and Kinney, and across the street at one of the other homes, that they're clogged. It's more than just water that's underneath. It seems that if you look there, and if you go down Kinney a little further and look into the other storm drains, they're very deep and you could see down. Where ours, just now, the water is just underneath the grate. You could just, well, before today's rain it was anyway. Today's rain kind of just got rid of that. So the issue that we're having is, how can we get these things cleaned out or pumped out, or I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, so we're looking for you guys to come up with a solution. Now, we're there 15 years, and I have never seen it like this. And the Robinsons across the street have been here 25 years, and she attested to the same thing, that has never been this bad. And it has gotten progressively worse. I mean, through the years, the heavy rain would come down, and it would flood, but over maybe half an hour, maybe an hour, it gradually would go into the storm drains, and it would be gone. Well, it has gotten worse and worse and worse, to the point where we have lakefront property.
Yeah.
Not looking for that. So what we're doing, we're here to say, help us. Really,
Absolutely.
Clean these out, do something to, just so that the water doesn't stay in the street. And I was afraid it was going to freeze, and then because the water went totally across from one corner to the next and across the street, you'd have a skating rink if that. And the school is there, and the kids drive by all the time, and it would just be a really bad hazard. And so
Yeah, it's definitely, I actually ran past it this morning, and I saw that it was down, which was great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's been a very rainy, season, December and January, but it's the number one thing for DPW to do once the water starts going down, so we can get in there and actually check it out and, come up with a solution. Adam, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, as we've spoken about on a few occasions, the challenge is it's not piped stormwater infrastructure. It's a dry well.
Correct.
So in order to evaluate it, it can't be full of water. And the challenge is, once it's not full of water anymore, DPW is going to go in, inspect it. If maintenance needs to be done, it will be done. Exploration is being undertaken to determine if there's anything that could improve the situation.
Can make them deeper. They don't seem to be very deep.
Everything's being reviewed and explored, but until it can be physically inspected, to your point, if there is an issue that's causing the infiltration of the water into the soil to be slowed, if that's addressed, maybe that improves it. As the mayor pointed out, 17 inches of rain in a 2-month period with nothing on the trees to soak up the rain is never happened before in recorded rainfall history.
That did make it worse, for sure, but it has constantly been that way. It's just gotten to the point where something
Yeah.
should...
Correct.
And remember-
And the exacerbation of the discharge through the sump pumps causes additional problems. So with the addition of approximately 12,000 gallons an hour of water, that definitely creates a challenge on the street. So with the confluence of all those things, as soon as there's a situation where it can be inspected, it will. And if there's action that can be taken, there's few people that would like the water off the street more than the township and the public works department. They don't like it there either, because as you pointed out, if it did create an icing condition, we were ready to go with a huge amount of salt, which comes at a significant expense to have to clear all that ice.
Yeah. So at what point can we determine how dry it has to be? I mean, like it was going really good until today, and now all of a sudden, we're right almost back, well, not quite back as bad as it was, but if it continues to rain, it will be.
And remember, to put it in context, too, I mean, we have to figure this out, 100%. DPW knows about it, we know about it, we've had multiple conversations about this, but just to make sure we put it in context, it was the most rainy season in December and January, so much so that the town had 2 major flood events as well. And this is where people lost, belongings in their home because of
I get
that.
it.
So it's a horrible situation, and it's amazing that much water is on your street, which is over there. But there's got to be a way that we can figure something out. And hopefully it's just clogged. I mean, knock on wood, that would be the best solution.
That's what we're feeling as well.
We need to get in it.
Because there's a tree on each corner, so if there's roots that are down there that are doing it, or leaves, or muck, or whatever, like I said, we're there 15 years, and I know they've not been cleaned. I don't know what the process is, or if there's a schedule. I really don't know. I'm just saying that as far as we know, it appears for us that it's really clogged, and so no matter what, unless we unclog it, the water's just going to stay
We're
there.
going to get in there. We're going to figure this out somehow.
Adam, is there a schedule?
I don't know.
Do you know how many sump pumps are going into the storm water?
Do I know, in the town?
No.
No.
So yours are going directly into the,
Well, they all go into the street, which drain.
Direct lined in. They're actually
Yeah, that's-
connected underground.
see, that I think
Yeah.
might be part of the problem.
Right,
Yeah, so not only is it raining, but you also have multiple
8 people are
houses.
pumping into that same area.
Same
It's
drive.
different for everybody, though. If you go down Kinney towards the end where the rest of the storm drains are, they're clear. There's not even a puddle
If
there.
it pleases the council, just before we kind of lose control of this, as it was said, there's different situations in different areas. Piped stormwater infrastructure is very different than a dry well.
Right.
So having a sump pump piped into piped stormwater infrastructure is less of an issue if there's enough gravity and the outflow area doesn't get over full. So if it pleases the council, my recommendation would be that you just simply direct, we continue to stay on top of this, and at the first opportunity,
Yeah, we
we'll
gotta
get in
get in
and
there.
inspect it. When will that be? Mother Nature is going to have an impact on that, and I don't know what will or won't happen with the rains, but unfortunately, that is the solution that is available at this time.
As soon as they can get in there, let's make sure
Yes, sir.
DPW gets in there.
I'll be looking every day.
Yeah. So would I. Let's keep our fingers crossed and, lower on the rain, please.
Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Yes, come on up.
Just wanted to-
I need you to come up to here, please. I appreciate that. Just state your name.
Hi, Harold Bolton. I live on Kinney Place, 15 to be precise. I just wanted to make you aware of 2 other facts of information. So I looked at the flood cert that was done on my property when I purchased it in 2015. It shows that our properties are in flood zone X, which is outside of the 500-year flood event. So it's highly unlikely, even if we all did have basements pumping into that area, that it would create this sort of an issue. And the other piece of information information is my neighbor, who's to the left of me, who's on Washburn, but on the corner of where Washburn meets Kinney, did make me aware that the township did put cones in front of his house, and they noticed that part of the front of his lawn had collapsed into the ground, almost like a sinkhole type of event, and they said that that is an underwater drainage pipe that is cracked, and it's not allowing water to trade between the different storm drains. That's what he told me.
I'll tell you what,
I don't know
we'll
if
take a
that's
look
true.
at it, and if
Yeah.
that in fact is it, that'd be perfect, because then we found the problem.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
We can use that new estimate.
it's different systems, but yes.
Okay.
There's some that's
Yeah.
piped and some that's dry well.
Gotcha.
And that's consistent with kind of all over
Yeah.
town.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make you aware of that.
Yeah, we would love to have the pitch, but we're really flat, which is great for bike riding, but bad for snowboarding.
come on up.
My name's Patrick Daly, 7 Kinney Place, Pompton Plains, New Jersey. We have 2 pumps going into our drain from our basement. This month, the month before, and the month before that, they've been running nonstop.
Just to clarify, so December, January, and then February.
February.
Okay.
All right? So each pump is an industrial pump. It's not a pump you buy in Home Depot.
Oh, so you're the reason why this thing is done. Just kidding.
It's 4,920 gallons an hour
Per pump?
per pump.
That's a lot of...
So I keep my neighbor dry. My pump is running correctly. Am I incorrect, Jill? Will my
No,
pump-
Patrick doesn't pump, I'm in big trouble.
Yeah, if my power goes out, I flood her, I flood the neighbor across the street, I flood everybody. So I just want to make sure that the board is aware of this. Between the 2 pumps, I pump 9,840 gallons an hour out. Wow. All right? That's 24 hours a day. All right? That's during the rainy season. And that was December, January, part of February. Okay? When the street drains are backed up with leaves, and it has nowhere to go, the children have nowhere to get home. They have to go around the street. Either that or they have to walk through water or on somebody's lawn. And, it's kind of an ugly situation. When I say I have 2 industrial pumps, I can't buy these at Home Depot. I have to go to an industrial pump supply store. They're $1,600 a piece. I keep them running all the time. I don't mind for my neighbors. I'd rather keep their basements dry too. But this year I could not. Due to the backup inside the drains in the street and storm drains in the street, there was no way to put that water anywhere but in the street. And then it comes back onto your lawn, soaks your lawn, and then goes back into your basement. So it's a reoccurring event. Now, we did notice, this was our first year we've noticed, all 3 storm drains on our corners were clogged. Now, I was there when they picked up the leaves. They did not clean out the drains. They did not clean out the storm drains. All right? They went over the storm drain, pushed the leaves, pretty much packed them into the storm drain. Now, I'm not saying it's their fault. I appreciate what they did, but I don't think they realize the damage that we have. Now, we live between Hillview and the high school, 2 of the flattest fields of water, or bodies of water that you
Yeah,
could
that high
possibly
school,
get.
did you see how much water the high school had in the back? That whole field was flooded.
You should have seen my basement.
Yeah.
So, now, if this keeps on going on, my foundation is cracked due to water pressure coming up. The entire foundation of my house is cracked due to water pressure coming up. I'm either going to have to do one or 2 things. I'm going to have to backfill my basement, take everything out, put it in the garage. That means my heating, my water heater,
Yep.
all the stuff down there I'll have to put in the garage. And I would say that would go for my neighbors as well, because if I stop pumping, they're full of water. And, everything they just replaced can be kissed goodbye again.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying my best. I've never once spoke up about it. I've never asked for a nickel for electricity for it. It costs us $500 the one month and $400 the second month. That was December and February, rather December and January. That's $900 in electric.
For a ranch.
Yeah.
For a ranch, and I don't even have a pool. If you want, I could make a pool, an indoor
Fill the pool real quick, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is all groundwater.
Yeah.
This is all groundwater, and it's all damage to my house. And
Yeah, you could see, just go over by the dog park, you could see how
Yes.
high that water is.
Yes.
And unfortunately, because of Pequannock, it's...
yes, I know
nobody's
it's
fault.
flat land.
It's flat land,
And
and
it's
we're
plains.
actually on top of an aquifer, and you could literally map, like, the river that's underground, and it literally is going from, if you look at by the dog park and you kind of cut across town, you'll literally see where it hits on Tilly, where it hits on Park, where it hits on Cameron. You'll see 4 houses that are pumping out, and nobody else is. You could literally map this as, with all these heavy rains that have been happening,
Yes.
all the houses that are pumping. If you had an aerial, you would actually see. It's unfortunately just one of the things of Pequannock. We're literally sitting on a lake.
Yeah, and we're
That's
sitting
why a lot
between
of
2
houses-
school fields which soak.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
my neighbors, I love my neighbors, I'll do anything for them. I wouldn't ask a nickel for them, but what I would ask the town was, please clean
Well, it is
clean the
priority.
drains.
It's
The drains are
100%
not
priority.
complete.
We got to get in there. We have to make sure they're not clogged, clean, and figure something out. It's 100% priority. We've talked about
We
it.
have the runoff, I know the runoff is the river, I believe.
What do you mean runoff?
The
These
runoff
are
for
just
that
dry
drain,
wells.
for that street drain would be the river, wouldn't it?
You would be able to talk to that.
Some of them are not piped infrastructure, meaning some of them are just dry wells.
And where are those dry wells,
Some of
if you don't
them-
mind me asking?
It's just a tank in the ground that takes the water off of the street during a rain event, and it percolates
In
into...
a lower level of town?
Right, it doesn't, because there's nowhere to run the water to because of gravity.
Okay.
You can't pump stormwater, DEP won't let you do it.
Okay, because we weren't sure of that, but...
Yeah, so that's one of the challenges. Some of the infrastructure is dry wells, and some of it is
Just going
piped.
out and in.
So the dry wells, if you get 15 pounds, you got a 10-pound bag, you got a problem.
Yeah.
But maintenance is key, and as the mayor said, no, it's
No,
well discussed.
we understand. We had to come up here and express our opinions about it because
Totally understand.
it's not fair to our neighbors. I don't mind pumping. I don't mind paying for it. I don't mind pumping it out. Like I said, but not everybody has. You buy a pump from Home Depot, I'm beating it 4 times.
Yeah.
They buy a 1/4 horsepower, I got 3/4 running.
Yeah.
I'll keep mine and theirs dry. I can keep all 3 of my neighbors dry, if I'm allowed to pump water. But if the water's constantly circulating back in through the groundwater, which it is, it comes in through my lawn, Jill's lawn, my neighbor's lawn, and it circulates back in through the
Well, let's
groundwater.
keep our fingers crossed for a drier spring. For everybody. Absolutely. Let me just, are you done, sir?
Thing.
Okay.
And the reason is
Name?
because Jill Noblett, I'm
There we
sorry,
go.
because I know you. I live in the house, it was my parents' house, so I have experience with the neighborhood for decades, and it's never been like this. So that's why I think we're all thinking something's wrong.
Yeah.
It's never been this way, and we've lived through many, many, many floods and many high water tables, and I can't say anything more than my neighbors have already very articulately expressed, but just that it's a very unusual event, because it's flooded before, no doubt, when there's been a high water table, but it has gone down relatively quickly.
Yeah.
It has not been this prolonged agony where, the streets flooded, and for me, unfortunately, I think I'm at the heart of it because I'm right at the end of the driveway is where the big flood occurs, and
Well, especially when it's cold.
then it
When it was
freezes.
really cold, that's what we were really worried about.
Yeah.
An ice skating rink right there.
That's exactly what it was. And there was a couple days my daughter and I, we had walked to school. We're very lucky we're close. It's good exercise, but it's to get out to do other things like go to work and those things becomes more of a challenge. So I just wanted to share that it's unusual event. It has not ever been this way. So there's something weird. There's something wrong. And that's why I think we're all like, this is very unusual. It's not how it's been in any other high water table. And let's face it, we're in Pequannock. We've had a lot of high water tables and a lot of flooding. And so I just wanted to add that it's unusual. So I appreciate your attention to the matter.
And again, as soon as we can get some dry weather out there and it starts going down, we're going to get in there. DPW, it's priority, get in there and start figuring out. Hopefully, I mean, quite frankly, let's keep our fingers crossed that it is clogged, because then we can provide a solution to the problem. So
I'm just curious, though, is there any way, because I think someone said it was a dry well, is there any way for it not to be that it could go? Because actually, there's a sign on that particular sewer, I don't know if it's on your sewers or not, but it says empties to a stream. But evidently it doesn't, so I don't know.
It may be just a standard head unit for an inlet.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's mainly, I think, for pollution.
Yeah, to keep people from dumping cooking oil and other things into it.
Right, well, that makes sense, I
But
understand.
yeah, the engineer's exploring every option. The problem is gravity. That's the problem. It's, as was pointed out, it's a spot that is a really low spot.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your comments about the history, but we've never, so to give context, there was 13 inches of rain plus or minus from January 1st to November 30th in 2023. In the last 2.5 months, there's been over 18. So although I agree 100% this has never happened, based upon our review of historical rainfall, this has never happened. It is an extraordinary circumstance that is greater in duration and quantity than even Irene.
yeah,
From a groundwater perspective, Irene, you had heavy 11 inches in August. That was a crazy event that happened over a short period of time. This is a prolonged period of extraordinarily high.
It just won't stop. That's the problem. It just won't stop.
We have it again tonight. All right, well,
Hopefully
thank
it will now, so let's focus on that. Anybody else? Sir?
Good evening, Paul Mailer. Also, just to the point these folks have made, this is one of the reasons why overdeveloping 60 Sunset will also worsen that problem. But following the January 23rd Town Council meeting, I took the time to listen to the official recording. What I heard was disconcerting, not from the public, as in each case they were completely accurate with their comments about our library. But what was disconcerting was that despite a clearly stated point of order, Mayor Hurd abruptly and inappropriately ended the 30-minute comment segment at about 25 minutes. He then declared much of what he had heard to be disinformation. Giving him the benefit of the doubt, I can only conclude that he has been poorly informed about the goings-on at library trustee meetings. The following is the text, moving on, from a February 23 email that I sent to Councilwoman Russell. In an effort to support our great library, I thought it might be helpful to summarize my observations of Wednesday night's library trustee meeting. Township resident and prominent township architect Jim Cotillo presented exciting plans for reimagining the library footprint. As the original designer of the building that beautifully represents the township character, Jim's plans were well received both by the board and the more than 50 residents in attendance. Jim added that upgrades for state-of-the-art electronics, for example, while not included in his scope of work, provide an opportunity to bring our library up to the latest standards for safety, efficiency, and well-being. That suggestion is the kind of thinking we're hoping for as the new board considers how best to spend the tax allocation afforded by law to our library. We were also delighted to hear Councilwoman Russell's support for an outdoor events facility as described by a resident during the comment segment. It's yet another example of the kind of innovative thinking we're hoping for from her and from the new trustees. Newly minted board president Christina White, however, ended last Wednesday's meeting seeking to again claw back funds from library services to the municipality for purposes she couldn't or wouldn't explain. She then refused to honor a bona fide 2023 trustee vote to fund the library capital budget. Inappropriately deeming it a straw poll, she unwisely added, "You don't budget for a rainy day." Attempting to support taking money from the library, new trustee Jason Peller cautioned the board to, quote, "be compliant with the state law." He was later assured by a resident that there's no state law requiring a library board to return money to their municipality. In fact, state library officials would encourage our trustees to spend all the library money allocated to the library for the library. We also heard at that meeting from a resident who provided state library statistics for 6 other surrounding libraries, proving that the millage allocation to our library is proportionate to those surrounding communities. In every case, each of those libraries spend all of their allocation for library services. In addition, Trustee Muzio reported that of the 234 municipal libraries in New Jersey, no more than 6 have ever sent money back to their municipality. 6 out of 234 in the entire history of New Jersey. The reason is that the law to take money back was actually intended to provide for very wealthy South Jersey communities whose residential values provide too large a millage rate for libraries to adequately utilize. Certainly, Pequannock Township doesn't fit in the same income or residential property value category as Avalon, New Jersey, for which the law was written. The comments Wednesday night from a former library staffer were filled both with emotion and indicative of an ongoing challenge readily resolved. She spoke of her frustration at having been dedicated to her work but leaving because she and apparently other staffers are paid less than the minimum standards set by the New Jersey State Library. It certainly seems incongruous that we would have so much pride in our library but not enough to pay our staffers at least the minimum standards. As Board President White observed, there is currently a $500,000 reserve for capital improvements at the library. However, her conclusion that the current reserve amount will suffice leaves out several key items. The total capital plan is actually more than $800,000, and that doesn't include the following important considerations to ensure the safety, health, and well-being of our treasured library. 1, a new facility that would greatly contribute to new and exciting library events. 2, the $210,000 estimate and scope of work provided by architect Catrillo doesn't include the following additionally desirable enhancements: refurbishing bathrooms, improving the lighting and appearance of the meeting room, state-of-the-art electronics for staff and patrons alike, repair or replace the fountain, plans for improvements to be suggested by library interiors, an organization the library's used in the past, and to employ them to implement recommendations. Number 3, re-engineering the parking lot for safety before repaving. Given the many board discussions regarding parking lot safety, it would be unwise for the board to simply repave. With the library taking over responsibility at the township's direction, it is incumbent on the board to re-engineer the lot for better traffic flow and pedestrian crossing savings, such as with handicapped access, and then repave. Complications that may occur with roof repair. While it's appropriate to move forward with repairing the roof, a word of caution. Leaking roofs often have substantial substructural problems, so please be sure that when taking the lowest bid, the scope of work includes whatever problems might be found once the old roof is removed. Should the substructure damage be extensive, the additional cost would be considerable. While bringing my book donations to the for the Friends upcoming book sale, I noticed that a significant leaking problem at the front corner of the library entranceway, so new gutters should also be added to the roof replacement job. So it's easy to consider that these foundational updates will bring the capital improvement budget at the library to well over $1 million, thereby negating any justification for taking additional dollars from the library. I'm sure there are other excellent ideas for continuing to improve our treasured library contained in a resident poll that was done for the long-term plan. And also a word about the obvious discord exhibited between board members at the last trustee meeting. They stem from 2 very serious points of contention. 1, our professional librarian, whose stellar leadership provides for a great local institution, felt the need to warn Councilwoman Russell personally and the board collectively that should the verbal abuse she has suffered over the last many months continue, she would take legal action. Two, the New Jersey State Library's position on taking money back from a municipal library is very clear. They consider the millage amounts to be the minimum that a library should spend on the that the municipality should spend on the library, the minimum. So I look forward to working with you, with your town council colleagues and the library trustees towards helping Debbie and the Friends of the Libraries to keep our library the pride of the township. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, unfortunately, we've hit our 30-minute time period. So as previously noted, additional period for public comment is reserved later in this meeting. Next on the agenda is manager's report. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, Mayor. Within my report, I have 4 items, 3 of which I will take as a group. As discussed previously, DEP requires 3 ordinances be implemented to comply with our stormwater management permit. Timely that we're talking about stormwater management.
Yeah.
Those ordinances are a revision to the general stormwater ordinance, salt storage regulations, which is new, as well as an ordinance regulating the removal of trees and the replacement of trees. Those ordinances are scheduled for public hearing and potential adoption. And the fourth item on my report is the recommendations being made for the council's consideration to award the concession provider for the 2024 season at PD Park. Competitive contracting process was utilized, which necessitates weighting and averaging sheets and a whole lot of bureaucracy articulated by administrative code, which is included as an appendix to my memorandum. If there's any questions on my report, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, that's it.
Is this the same guy that had it last year?
This is the incumbent for the last 2 years, correct? And also the highest contribution provider financially.
Is it the only income? Is it the only person again?
We received 3.
Okay.
Based upon the review of the Competitive Contract Review Committee, this was the recommendation because of experience as well as the financial contributions being higher than the other.
And they did good last year? Because I know in years before that, it wasn't the best service.
They did okay.
It was a challenge.
The biggest challenge is not dissimilar to the restaurant industry, is staff. You know, we see some of our most popular restaurants in town sometimes shutting down because they can't get staff. That was the biggest challenge we faced.
That's it. Just as long as they're getting better and doing the best they can.
Correct.
So, okay.
Kyle, did you have any questions?
No, I did not right now.
Melissa?
I just wanted to make a comment that I was surprised, but pleasantly surprised, that we have now this tree removal and replacement ordinance that we have to do. I was surprised that we didn't have something in place before. And I think it's contributed to problems in the past by not having this ordinance. So I'm glad that we're doing it. I know it was state required, but... Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
How soon would we put these into effect if they're adopted tonight?
20-day period based upon state statute.
Any other questions?
Nope.
All right. The next on the agenda, public hearing on ordinance number 2024-03. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance number 2024-03 is an ordinance amending Chapter 308 of the Code of the Township of Pequannock and revising stormwater management regulations.
Are there any comments from the council? We just went over it. No? Is there a motion to open this public hearing?
Motion open.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. If anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record. Okay, seeing none. Is there a motion to close? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2024-03.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Yes, roll call, please.
Mr. Tracy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Hurd?
Yes. Next on the agenda is public hearing on ordinance number 2024-04. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance 2024-04 is an ordinance of the Township of Pequannock amending the Township Code to establish NJDEP mandated regulations for privately owned salt storage.
Are there any comments from council?
No.
None? Is there a motion to open to public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. If anyone in the audience has questions or comments on the ordinance, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record. Isn't this exciting, guys? Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing? Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2024-04.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Hurd.
Yes. Next on the agenda is public hearing on ordinance number 2024-05. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance 2020-405 is an ordinance amending Chapter 330 of the Code of the Township of Pequannock and establishing tree removal and replacement requirements.
Thank you. Are there any comments from council?
No.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
So all in favor? Aye. If anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record. How are you?
Yes, I do. How about that?
That's awesome.
Mary Kay Schmerman. Could you tell me what establishing tree removal and replacement requirements, have you already made it, and what does it say?
Adam?
The New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection created new requirements to the township stormwater management permit.
Okay.
And one of them was that we implement an ordinance regulating the removal and replacement of trees. So the ordinance articulates what homeowners can do and can't do and what needs to be replaced and when. Essentially, homeowners can remove one healthy tree per year or up to 3 and 5 years. And they can do so without a permit, but it really attempts to manage the clear cutting or overdevelopment of things if one were to buy a lot and then clear cut all of the trees. It just establishes procedures and requirements for the removal of trees.
So if somebody does do a clear cut that's in violation of this?
Of that ordinance, correct.
Is that also
There's an
involved in that?
enforcement component to it and a requirement to replace trees and
Okay, so do you know what the requirement is if you take down a tree to replace a tree? Like, is it immediately or a year, or is that part of the open?
it's articulated in the ordinance.
Okay,
It's all relative to the size of the tree.
There's a copy right there.
Okay, great. So, well, this is really important to have.
Yeah, it's to prevent the clear cutting, and also just, we can't just take all of our trees out of our backyard. We have to, if that needs to be done, then you have to replace a certain amount of trees, and everything's in there relative to the size of the tree as well. But if you have a tree that is dead, you can take that down. That's a safety hazard.
Right. And then also there's going to be, the trees going to be planted through the grant and that's coming in the spring, right?
Correct. That's still on track.
And we also replanted 450 trees in the floodway. We got a grant for that for a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And they're actually doing fabulous. We're almost ready to take the protection off the bottom.
A lot of them are taken off already.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
They're getting
environmental.
big. Yeah.
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I know.
Anybody else? No? Where am I? Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second? Melissa, all in favor? Aye. Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2024-05.
I'll second.
Roll call, please. Thank you, everybody.
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Hurd.
Yes, there are no ordinances for introduction. Ooh, that's a big one. All right, next on the agenda is resolutions. Ms. Marsh.
Beginning with Resolution R 2024-71, confirming the designated memberships in the Pequannock Township Fire Department. 2024-72, approving change order number 2 for the Route 23 sewer project, increasing the contract with P&A Contractors of Colonia, New Jersey by $15,198.13 to a revised contract price of $5 million. Did I read that right? Yes. Revised contract price of $5,673,938.81. 2024-73, awarding a contract for the concession operator for the Pequannock Valley Park Lake Concession Stand to Sean Leonardo, doing business as the Joshua Tree, for the total contribution amount of $2,875 in accordance with the request for proposals. 2024-74, calling upon New Jersey Department of Transportation Commissioner Diane Gutierrez Scacchetti to facilitate a study of the Route 23 corridor in an effort to improve safety. 2024-75, authorizing tax office refunds, overpayments, or cancellations. 2024-76, authorizing release of designated escrow deposits. 2024-77, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the February 23rd, 2024 bill list and 2018 FEMA elevation escrow list, and R 2024-78, authorizing an application to the Morris County Community Development Block Grant Program.
Thank you. Are there any comments on the resolutions from council?
Yeah, on number 72, it's a net deductor contract, correct?
This is in addition. There was a previous, change order 1 was a reduction of approximately 39,000. This is an addition of 15,000 and change based upon
got it.
finding, I think, remnants of an old road.
Right, this just has them both here, so got it. Okay.
Yes. Tracks it in each resolution.
Kyle, you have anything?
I'm good.
Dave? I'm good. Melissa?
No, I'm good. I was just curious, who actually puts together the grant?
The CDBG grant is specific to whomever really oversees that kind of project, so this one was prepared by the township engineer.
The engineer did it.
Correct. And that is a draft as of a certain date. It's expanded upon in the final version submitted tomorrow.
Okay.
CBBG?
CDBG, Community Development Block Grant.
Sound like a place. Oh,
That sounds like something else that's
Yeah.
going around now.
That's what I was thinking that.
That smells funny.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve resolutions 2024-71 through
Can I get it?
2024-78.
Can I get a second? Roll call?
Mr. Tracy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Hurd?
Yes, there are no items for discussion, no report or notices. Council report and announcements. Next on the agenda is council reports and announcements. Mr. Dreesy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My only committee did not meet, the Shade Tree Committee did not meet, the village didn't have anything to discuss, so next time I know we're going to discuss the new ordinance that just came out. Congratulations to the new junior firefighter that jumped on board. Thank you very much for volunteering your time and helping out. And I understand there's been a couple high school students that have gotten really cool awards in track and wrestling and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, the girl and
congratulations
one
to
another.
you. Very well done. Thank you. Thank you for making Pequannock proud. And we do live in a great town, Mr. Hurd.
Yes,
We do.
We do. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Next, Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
I also want to say congratulations to the new junior firefighter member, Paul how do you say it?
Just say Paul.
Paul S.
Statuto.
Statuto. Congratulations to him. We also, some of us went to the Polar Plunge this last weekend,
very
put on
cool.
by the FBLA, and that was a success. And I didn't go in the water, but it was...
Next time.
It was nice. The memorial for Jay Wasnick was very nice, so kudos to everyone that put that together.
Very well attended.
The Senior Citizen Advisory Committee, they met. We welcomed a few new members. That committee now is pretty much full. Nancy Latta, Ed Jenish, and Debbie Cascio. I don't know if I said that right, but those are our new members. And they picked, they voted on their chair, Bernice Sowers, co-chair, which is a co-chair, Debbie DeLuca, and a secretary, Debbie Cascio. So they're just working on a couple of things. There's going to be a senior event that Parks and Rec is handling, setting up. It's a senior ID event. It'll also be for veterans, veterans and seniors. So they're trying to get the word out on that. That event is April 17th from 10 to 2. So that'll be up probably on, I believe they're going to put it up on our website, and they've been doing some communications or getting a flyer ready, and that'll be going out. I don't know if it's actually been out there yet, but I do have to say some of the communications have been better through, I guess Parks and Rec started I guess they always had it, but they have a new Facebook page out. That through Facebook, they were putting a lot of stuff out in the community pass, and you can set up for alerts, and the website's been updated. So the seniors were talking about that some of that has been great, that they've been putting out more communications, and it's easier to find. What else? Our next meeting for the seniors is March 20th at 9:30 at the Senior House. Economic Development Advisory Committee, they are meeting tomorrow night at 7 p.m., and my Flood Committee is meeting Thursday, the 29th at 7 p.m. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for that very comprehensive report. I appreciate that. Councilman Cole?
I just wanted to let everyone know that Art Schmidt from the TBSA, a Pequannock resident, is got an award from the Association of Environmental Authorities.
Congratulations.
For a Outstanding Commissioner Award. That award will be presented to Art on Wednesday, March 13th in Atlantic City.
Good for him.
Yeah.
It doesn't stink.
Yeah. Congratulations to Ryan Chocolar. He's our new 400-meter Group 1 state champion. Girls basketball team had a great season, finished 16-10, lost in the second round of the state playoffs to the number 1 seed Jefferson. Congratulations to Sophia Clutcha. She is the first female wrestler from PTHS that is going to be headed to Atlantic City for the state championship.
Awesome.
Like everyone said, Jay's memorial was very nicely done. Thank you to everyone that was involved in that. Like Melissa said, FBLA Chamber Polar Plunge was this past Sunday, and congratulations to Paul, our newest junior firefighter.
And I just said Paul because I had no idea how to say his last name.
Have you ever considered being the announcer for the high school?
No.
You've got like that announcement voice, I gotta tell you.
No.
Okay. My report.
Again?
Councilman Russell.
Councilwoman.
Woman.
You're striking out, kid.
I'm telling you. Just say my name. I do want to say congratulations to Sergeant Jim Derricks, Patrolman Steve Natz, and
Yes.
Patrolman Brian, am I going to say this wrong? Parigi. They are being awarded the 200 Club of Morris County. And that's going to be at the Birch Manor on April 25th. They helped save somebody up in Cedar Crest with the water. They did it, 2 people in the water search. So that is April 25th at the Birchwood Manor. I think I'm going to try to go. So if any of you guys want to go, let me know. Congratulations, well deserved. That's awesome.
It's 125, I think.
Oh, I didn't. Take it out. Take it out of the list. So, yes, so I'm going to try. I have to look at my schedule, see if I can make it. Rotary's doing a comedy night. I think it's all sold out, though, Saturday the 2nd. Library. They did award a bid to do the roof. We awarded a bid.
Excellent.
Yeah, still a lot of falsities going around, false things going around about this law that is indeed a law about returning excess library money. But it's good. I think we got clear goals about what we are going to do, and we hope to improve the library. What was that?
I said good.
Yeah, no, it's good. It is. It's good. We're actually meeting tomorrow and have a special meeting to hire a library attorney because so many things go in as, does abstain mean yes? Does abstain mean no? Like silly stuff. And we waste a lot of time on silly stuff instead of just going and getting the work done.
I'm glad to see that.
We waste a lot of time.
I'm glad to see it's getting done. I mean, I know that the roof has been a problem for a while. I don't understand why it hasn't gotten fixed, but I'm glad you're there. I'm glad things are getting actually done.
It's going to get done. We're going to get a lot of stuff done, and I'm excited. But also, speaking of the library, because unfortunately we did have somebody quit, like I explained last week, and it's tough. People don't realize that these are volunteers, and they get up and they make comments, and it's mean. And some person screamed and yelled at us, and in November, and she actually said she was scared. So eventually, she just quit. So I would like to make a motion to replace her on the board with Joanne McShane. We had all gotten a list. Do I have to give that a number, Carol? Is that R 2024-79?
If we agree to put it on the agenda.
What?
I need 3 people to tell me to put it on the agenda.
Okay by me?
Okay by me.
And we're putting the youth for the...
Yeah, and I'd also like to add Jason Goldbeck to a youth liaison. These are both commissions, which is why we can do it, why I'd like to make sure we have these things filled.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
We can make one resolution for the library. When you do it in the you do a separate resolution for each board.
Right.
So if you want to do one for the library board.
Right. So R 2024-79.
Yeah, she can do it from the floor as long as there's support from the governing body.
Okay.
Without a documented future meeting.
And then a different one for the environmental
Right.
commission.
And then I'd like to propose R 2024-80 to put Jason Goldbeck as a youth liaison to the environmental. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Really? I'm sorry.
I don't know. Honestly.
She'll get there.
That was Councilwoman Russell. You just
See, she did it too.
You just moved 2.
Yeah.
And then who seconded them? JD
Give it
both?
to John.
Okay.
All in favor?
Wait.
No, you need a
No.
Roll call.
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Hurd?
Yes.
Motion carries, both of them.
That was harder or easier than I thought. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Are you done making resolutions now?
No. I have so many. Yes, I am. And congratulations to everybody. And you're right. This is a great town. This is a great town. We have great volunteers. We have people who just want to do the best for the town. And I think people have to realize what one person thinks is the best and another person thinks is the best. It's okay to disagree. It's not okay to get nasty about it.
Agreed. Again, you want to come here? Come yell at me.
You know. So anyway, okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Just have a few things. I ditto everything that everybody said. I do want to talk about Jay. I mean, Jay was a fabulous volunteer. And like you were saying, Ms. Russell, you know, our township is the way it is. It's the culture it is. It's the community it is because of the volunteers. And people like Jay, who put so much into this town, especially with historic. I mean, he was our town administrator at one point. He's done so much for this town. He was, Citizen of the Year at one point as well. And he will definitely be missed. It was great to see the turnout. There was a ton of people there, and it was a beautiful day. So we're going to miss you, Jay.
From New York, from a club he used to go to in New York.
Yeah, he was head of an Irish club
Like an
out of
Irish
New York.
club.
Yeah. Again, something I wish I would have known beforehand, because that could have been a very interesting conversation with Jay.
I remember he used to take the bus there.
Yeah.
He would take the bus and then he'd come back.
Yeah, so we will miss you. Polar Plunge was cold, and I have to do a big shout out to Kay. You know, Kay, she is 87, I believe she said she was, and she got in that water.
Jeez, wow.
She got all the way in
She
that
insisted
water.
on going out as far to the...
I gotta tell you,
Awesome.
talk about inspiring. She went out there. I tried to stay with her for as long as possible, and then I had to tread water and get out because it was so cold. But she did an awesome job. LED signs. So I got this. This was really interesting. I want to give it to you. But you know, some of the signs that we have that do speed and whatnot. This was just really neat. I don't know if they had other ones or different ones that were less expensive, but just something to keep in mind for putting around town. Because I know on my street I could use one. Everybody's always hitting those tabletops and going way too fast. I don't know how we can change things like that, but what are you going to do? As well as LED signs, can we talk to the county? So the LED sign, the blinking LED sign on the rail trail where Rail Trail and Jackson comes together. It's working. Nobody's paying attention. And the other thing too is they're really tiny as far as the blink. And I'm sure at night it's fine. But during the day, it just doesn't have, like, that one stop sign that we have, the red blinking, you can tell day or night that thing's blinking. But this, during the day, I don't know. I don't know if they could do some supplemental thing or something, especially on the side coming into town where it's kind of like that rise, if they could do something else. It's just, it doesn't seem like it's
Bar
enough.
for the walkers? And isn't there eventually going to be a bar that stops them?
I think on the trail,
On the
but
trail.
not
on the cars, but on the
It's
trail.
not a bar that comes down, it's just offset, so you can't just go straight through on like on a bike, you gotta kind of zigzag, but it's not done yet, so.
I hate driving up that hill.
Yeah.
It's
But I
not
gotta
done
tell
yet, so
you, I
it's
sat
supposed
there,
to be open.
I pushed it, but I'm still waiting. People are still going,
Oh, yeah.
and they just kept on going. It's a shame, but, just my thing. We talked about the family thing for PV, that's great. I don't know what my other chicken scratch is here. The mailboxes. So, just to go back one, we had the snowstorm, and unfortunately, DPW, hit a couple of mailboxes, and not on purpose. I mean, this is just something that happens, during things like that. But
I apologize for the interruption, but just for clarification, the snow hits the
the snow, right, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Right,
The
no,
snow
they
hit the
didn't know
mailbox, the
snow.
mailbox comes out. It's not like, I'm not saying DPW took their truck and ran over the mailboxes. No, I want to clarify that.
Thank you.
It's just something that happens. But I still want, I know that we're in a hard place here because you have the post office that designates walking routes, driving routes, and they kind of tell where these things have to be. But there's got to be some kind of happy medium. If something was done, even by accident, I think that we should at least do something. Now, we can't put the thing back up, and we can't have them move it because it's stated by the post office. But I would like to, give them what the amount of a post office box is, $50, $75, I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think it starts a bad precedent. We never did it before. We have a resolution that we don't do it.
Correction, and I don't know if anyone was around for this, the township did do it.
Okay.
And then the code was changed to eliminate it.
Right.
Because of the issues that surrounded it.
So wait a minute, so council changed it to eliminate it?
Correct.
When was that?
When Dave was here.
Before all our time?
Yeah, probably.
Can we change it back?
That's the question.
So just, for the council's benefit and benefit record, the current code states that the township of Pequannock will not be responsible for damage done to any improvements in the right-of-way, including those impacted by snow plowing. That was put in place by the governing body. That the governing body can change and go back to the way it used to be, which was a fixed amount was designated upon confirmation that a mailbox was damaged. Question then becomes, what's the fixed amount? Some towns, so Title 59 indemnifies us against claims and has a process, so you have to file a tort claim notice if you want to file a claim against the township, which is currently what any resident has to do if they want to recover damages for a mailbox. Often they are denied by the insurance provider, and then the option of the homeowner is to litigate. I don't know what.
And nobody does that.
I don't know what most mailboxes cost,
I
but
did go take a look at some of the mailboxes that fell around me. I thought it was more, but it was only 3. And a lot of them were either old or very thin poles with a big metal thing up top.
yeah.
So,
But just if you don't. So if the council wants to consider it, the cleanest way to deal with this and what's most consistent with how it's approached previously by the township or by other municipalities is to set an amount upon confirmation of Public Works that it was damaged. Or to continue with the current statement of we're not going to be responsible for damage of things, and if you want to recover anything, file a tort claim.
I just think it's the right thing to do.
If we set an amount,
I'm saying.
is it moving forward, or the people that got their mailboxes knocked down in the last storm could come to us?
Yeah, could we make it?
That is up to
That's up
you.
to
You could set an ordinance that says, it had to have happened in 2024. So you don't go forever. Somebody comes back to you if it's 5 years ago.
And what if mine got knocked down last year?
Yeah, I know.
that's...
Or 2 years ago?
Well, and the
At
challenge.
some point, you have to.
Well, has there been a lot of issues or calls from previous?
The challenge is retroactively documenting and proving that it happened and that it was in fact caused by the snowplow, becomes a little bit of an issue. If someone has submitted a claim, that may be a different story.
How about if it's a light post with a light on top? I mean, where do we stop?
Where do we
What are
stop?
the other possible?
I'm just talking about mailboxes.
So people are prohibited from putting improvements in the right-of-way. If you notice going up, I'll use Jacksonville as an example, they have nice posts with lights on them that are about 15, 18 feet off of the street for a reason. It's not by accident. So other improvements, I would not recommend be considered for anything. If the conundrum I think the council recognizes is the postmaster dictates whether you're a walking route or a driving route, and if snow's heavy and the township pushes it, but that I think is a unique situation. It's not consistent with any other improvement.
Right, and it only happens in heavy snow, and I don't know.
Right, so then
I'm against
what's
it. I
our
think
liability?
It opens a can of worms.
Right now, we have no liability.
But you're saying it could...
Yeah, I know, I'm just leaning towards it's the right thing to do.
Correct. If the council's, again, it was previously a policy in place that compensation was provided for individuals whose mailbox were damaged, and the council made a decision to change that.
Doesn't Montville or who else around us does have a policy for that?
When I worked in Pequannock Township, we had a policy where I think residents were sent $50, which generated interesting conversations that I personally had for those individuals that had $2,000 mailboxes. What, you only sent me $50? This is an insult. Buy me a new mailbox, right? So no matter what you do, there's always going to be an opposite reaction or concern or consideration.
Melissa, what do you
But
think?
I still say if our guys knocked it down in a heavy snowstorm, we should give them something.
I just think it's the right thing to do.
That's how I feel. I mean, how many times is it really going to happen?
Open up a can of worms.
I don't think a lot, but again, it's the right thing to do. Dave, what do you think?
We have an older
I think it's the right thing to do,
What if it
too.
falls down every year because they just keep popping the same one up?
But like you said, simplify it. So,
yeah.
What if they just keep popping the same one up every snowstorm?
Yeah, what if they put the broken one back up with a 2x4?
I think we're gonna.
How do we protect ourselves against somebody taking advantage of us?
You can't.
We can't. That's what I'm saying. I don't.
But is the reason I know you weren't here, but is the reason we changed it in the past just because of mailboxes? No, it was.
I wasn't here. So.
I believe there was specific language, and this is anecdotal from
No, but
someone that was
it was
here.
about
There was
something else.
specific language about mailboxes to get out of the process of paying. I think that's right. It was problematic. I don't know exactly why, but I know eliminating or moving away from that policy was a goal of the new ordinance.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they intentionally knocked down people's mailboxes.
Right.
So I would kind of just say leave it as is and let's run. I mean, it's not like they aim for them.
I just don't think that there's going to be a lot of them.
I don't think so either. I just think it's the
I'm
right
just
thing
trying to
do.
figure out what made us change
And we don't want
it.
them plowing in the middle of the road so that they
And
don't
most of
hit
the
it because they don't want to
towns,
get in
you're saying,
trouble for
probably
hitting
do give them
for doing the
something.
mailbox now.
No, I personally have had experience with towns. One town, I've served in this capacity in 4 communities. One town provided $50, 3 towns said file totally.
Yeah. All right, so straw poll. John, what do you think?
Leave it as is.
Leave it as is.
Dave?
I don't care.
Got to be on one side or the other.
I was going to say that, but I'm picking a horse.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pick the
how
horse,
much,
Dave.
what's the figure going to be that we
It's
get?
not going to be that much.
It's unknown.
$100.
Well, I mean, the figure,
To be what the council determined.
right, and I could do some research and come back to the council.
I would say
report on
that.
it, but-
Give them $100 and, maybe the ambulance is going to take 7 years and out of
So is that, you're interested in it
Sure,
or
go
not?
ahead. Give them $100.
Oh, we're doing
Melissa?
100 now?
Well, before we put a number on it, let's find out how much it is from Home Depot.
Yeah, we don't have to
How
put a
much
number on it.
typical-
We're just doing a straw poll, and he's going to do some more research.
Why don't you find out what the surrounding...
How much is a home?
Why don't
How
I
much is a
find out
mailbox
who
from Home
passed it
Depot?
and talk to
Yeah,
the people
exactly.
who did it before and ask them what problems they came for that they had this ordinance?
Yeah, but
Well,
it's
that's what I asked.
not the mailbox. It's the post that they break. I doubt they're breaking the metal mailbox.
Right, it's the...
And the labor's going to be the most expensive.
Right. It's the labor, the guy coming, putting the bag of cement in the hole, and,
But at least it's
So why
showing a
don't we
little
find
good
out
faith that
who
we're giving
I
them.
got
voted
lousy
on
cell
that
service in
ordinance
here.
and why they decided that they
Me
felt
too.
the need for that ordinance? Wouldn't that make sense?
Who do you talk to about
Absent a
that?
Ouija board, I'm not sure where we go there.
Mailbox with
Are they all
post.
dead?
I just think by saying
Can you
tough
hum the
luck
tune from Jeopardy?
is not, it's just being a good neighbor. I mean, by saying tough luck.
All right, I'm okay with it. Find out what the surrounding towns are giving.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it acceptable to prepare as a discussion item at a next council meeting?
Yes.
$70,
Bring it as a report
$60,
with information.
$173, $110, $243.
75 bucks.
$112, $449, that's a nice one.
He'll look into
No. Basic, like pressure
77,
treated.
48, 99.
I tell you what's going to happen. We're going to say 75 bucks, and we're going to get the same thing that Adam got in Montville. You're kidding me, right?
Right.
75 bucks? How do you want me to put up a mailbox for 75?
Hence, leave it as is.
Dig the hole first.
Right.
That's my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
All right, he'll come back to
I'll
us.
schedule it for a discussion item the first meeting in March.
Oh, we gotta talk about this again?
All right.
Sir.
I am done.
Officially.
Next on the agenda is public comment. If anybody wishes to
Stay out
address the
back.
council, please
You and I
wait to
will
be
go.
recognized. Come to the
Seven's
microphone and provide your name for the record. Come on up.
Yes,
Hello again.
hello again. Mary Kay Schmerman.
Hey, Mary.
I need some clarification exactly as to what Kyle just said about the library. And I was at the February 21st meeting, and Yvette was there as the trustee, as the liaison for the school, as I understand it. Is that the person you're talking about, who you want to replace?
No.
So which trustee
Are we going back and forth?
is it that...
Is this comment?
Yeah, it's comment.
It's comment, unfortunately.
So I can't ask a clarification as to...
Generally, you can make statements, you can talk about, concerns, things like that, but as far as like going back and forth between a council member, something like that would be,
Okay.
Offline, talk to her, normal, but not in a setting like this. So it's supposed to be for public comment.
Okay, so what is the, may I ask what the,
You can ask the town clerk.
oh, okay. Off at,
You can
At her
Oprah
office?
the email that she sent us on Friday.
There you go.
It's in there.
You know what? You could just wait till after the meeting and I'll have a discussion with you.
wait, I want to find out how I can talk to the clerk and see the email.
Go ahead, you know better than me.
There you go.
An Oprah request.
Yeah.
Sure.
You